The moment Prince William inherited control of the Duchy of Cornwall, the atmosphere inside the royal household reportedly changed overnight. Palace aides who had spent decades comfortably operating under King Charles suddenly realized the future king was not interested in maintaining old loyalties or protecting the people who had quietly benefited from royal connections for years. According to insiders, William approached his new power with an icy calm that unsettled everyone around him. He began examining documents, financial records, and contracts tied to the duchy with extraordinary attention to detail, saying very little while doing so. Then came the discovery that allegedly pushed him past the point of no return. Camilla's sister was still connected financially to the royal structure after years spent moving through palace life untouched by controversy. To the public, it may have looked like another ordinary royal arrangement hidden among hundreds of others, but to William it symbolized something far darker and deeply personal. This was not simply about a woman receiving payments for professional work. This was someone connected to the years of secrecy, betrayal, and emotional devastation that destroyed Princess Diana from the inside out while the people around Charles protected the affair in silence. Palace sources claim William stared at the paperwork quietly before making a simple statement that immediately sent tension through the room. There was no shouting, no emotional outburst, no dramatic confrontation worthy of headlines. Instead, he reportedly informed aides a matter would be handled, and within a short time the arrangement disappeared completely without warning. No farewell announcement, no praise for years of service, no attempt to soften the decision publicly, just silence. In royal circles, silence can carry more danger than public humiliation because everybody understands what it means when someone is quietly removed without explanation. The message spread rapidly behind palace walls. The era of automatic protection under Charles was ending, and the people connected to Camilla's past were no longer safe simply because they had survived previous scandals untouched. What made the situation even more explosive were the old stories resurfacing about private houses used during Charles and Camilla's affair, secret meetings arranged while Diana struggled emotionally, and social circles that protected the relationship while pretending everything was normal. William reportedly remembers every detail from those years with painful clarity. He remembers watching his mother cry when she believed nobody could hear her. He remembers the loneliness surrounding her despite standing at the center of the most famous family in Britain. He remembers the constant pressure Diana faced while being told she was unstable, emotional, or imagining things that later turned out to be painfully true. Friends close to William say these memories never faded as he grew older. Instead, they hardened quietly inside him while he learned how to survive within the institution that failed his mother repeatedly. The calm public image William presents today reportedly hides a man carrying decades of unresolved anger towards the individuals he believes contributed to Diana's suffering. That is why recent actions inside the palace feel so cold and calculated to insiders. This is not reckless revenge from a grieving son. It is the behavior of a future king who waited years for enough authority to reshape the system around him. According to people close to the royal household, William no longer believes preserving appearances matters more than confronting painful truths. He sees the monarchy's future as impossible to protect while old networks of loyalty, silence, and manipulation remain buried inside it. And now that he finally holds real power, those who once felt untouchable are beginning to understand something terrifying. William has absolutely no intention of forgetting the past, and he appears completely unafraid of the damage his decisions may cause behind palace walls. The roots of William's fury reportedly stretch back to one of the most humiliating scandals in royal history, a moment that changed the way he viewed his father and Camilla forever. He was still a young boy when deeply private conversations between Charles and Camilla exploded across newspaper front pages, turning Britain into a frenzy of mockery and scandal. While television hosts laughed and the public treated it like entertainment, William was forced to absorb the reality of his parents' marriage collapsing in the most public way imaginable. Palace staff later described him during those years as unusually quiet, observant, and emotionally guarded beyond his age. Unlike Harry, who expressed frustration openly, William reportedly learned very early that survival inside royal life required silence. But silence did not mean ignorance. He noticed everything happening around him. He noticed Diana disappearing into tears after arguments. He noticed her exhaustion during public appearances. He noticed how lonely she looked even while surrounded by crowds and cameras. Then suddenly the entire country learned what he had already begun suspecting for years. Charles had never truly ended his relationship with Camilla. What shattered William emotionally were later revelations suggesting Diana may have been viewed by certain people as the ideal royal bride precisely because she appeared young, shy, inexperienced, and easier to manage within an already complicated situation. According to reports that resurfaced years later, Camilla allegedly believed Diana would never fully understand what was happening around her until it was too late. For William, those claims transformed his mother's story from heartbreak into something far more disturbing. The idea that Diana entered royal life unaware she was stepping into an emotional trap reportedly became one of the central reasons William struggles to forgive the people involved. Diana spent years trying desperately to save a marriage while facing emotional isolation, manipulation, and humiliation behind closed doors. The public saw glamour, royal tours, and smiling photographs. William saw panic attacks, emotional collapse, and a mother losing confidence piece by piece while the institution around her chose silence over honesty. Sources close to the palace say William believes Diana was repeatedly made to feel irrational whenever she questioned Charles's relationship with Camilla, even though many people already knew the truth privately. Over time, the emotional pressure reportedly became unbearable for her. She developed severe insecurities, struggled with her mental health, and increasingly felt abandoned by the very institution she had married into. William witnessed all of it while still trying to navigate childhood under relentless public attention. Then came the moment that changed him forever, Diana's death. Royal insiders have claimed for years that something inside William hardened permanently during the days following the car crash in Paris. At just 15 years old, he was expected to walk behind his mother's coffin before millions of people watching around the world. The image became one of the most haunting moments in modern history, yet few understood the emotional destruction hidden behind his composed face. Friends close to William later revealed he buried enormous amounts of pain during those years simply to survive. He learned how to hide emotion behind discipline, how to appear calm while carrying devastating anger privately. Most importantly, he learned never to forget. Those who know him well reportedly say William remembers people with extraordinary precision, conversations, betrayals, moments of cruelty, and the individuals connected to them. That memory is what frightens certain palace figures now. They understand his recent decisions are not emotional reactions, but the result of decades spent silently observing everyone around him. The frightened teenager who once had no control over what happened to his mother has grown into the future king of Britain, and according to insiders, he is no longer interested in protecting the people who helped create the darkest years of Diana's life. What reportedly pushed tensions inside the palace to dangerous levels in recent years was not only William's anger over Diana, but his growing belief that Camilla had started creating problems involving Catherine as well. According to royal insiders, there is one subject capable of transforming William's normally controlled personality almost instantly: his wife. Friends close to the prince say Catherine represents stability, trust, and emotional safety in a life shaped by chaos and betrayal. After everything he witnessed growing up, William reportedly became fiercely protective of the woman he loves, particularly against behavior he perceives as manipulative or disrespectful. Palace sources claim tensions between Camilla and Catherine slowly intensified behind closed doors long before the public noticed anything unusual. As William and Catherine grew more popular globally, attention increasingly shifted away from Charles and Camilla, creating quiet frustration within certain royal circles. According to insiders, Camilla allegedly struggled with the reality that once William becomes king, Catherine immediately becomes a central female figure in the monarchy while her own influence begins fading into the background.